Hi guys, how are you doing? This is your Gomati auntie here, and I hope you guys are doing great as well. How many of you here are fans of Peppa Pig? Oh, I am a fan of Peppa Pig, and today we are going to be reading a wonderful book from the Peppa Pig's series, and this is called George's New Dinosaur. Dinosaurs! Yeah, I love dinosaurs. The T-Rex, the Stegosaurus, the Diplodocus. And so, let's see what, George here does with his new dinosaurs. Looks like our George here, who's the brother of Peppa Pig, is also a dinosaur fan, like you and I. Let's read on. Peppa Pig, George's new dinosaur. George's favorite toy is Mr. Dinosaur. George likes bouncing Mr. Dinosaur in the garden, playing with him at bath time, and he loves going to sleep with Mr. Dinosaur beside him. At bedtime, Peppa says, "George, I think Mr. Dinosaur is broken." Haha. I love their, bed and how, they both can sleep in the same bed and they can talk to each other, right? Oh, look at the toy basket. Plenty of toys and a bookshelf here. Beautiful. George is very upset. Mummy and Daddy Pig come in to see why George is crying. Cries George. Poor George, says Daddy Pig. Maybe it's time you got a new dinosaur. And so, Mommy, Daddy, George and Peppa are all going to buy a new dinosaur, I think. Let's see what happens. The next day, Peppa, George, Mummy and Daddy Pig visit Mr. Fox's shop. "I'm sure we'll find a lovely dinosaur here, George," says Mummy Pig. "Look, George," says Daddy Pig, pointing to the shop window. "There's a big one! Oh, dinosaur!" says George. "Good morning," beams Mr. Fox. "Can I help you?" "We'd like to buy the dinosaur in the window, please," says Daddy Pig. "Good choice," says Mr. Fox. "This is Dino Roar. He walks, he talks, and he sings." "Wow!" says everyone. "Dino Roar!" says George excitedly. "We'll take it," says Daddy Pig. Wow! And their new, the Dino Roar is so, cute. It's I think a T-Rex. What do you guys think? Yeah. George is playing with Dino Roar in the garden. Dino Roar sings. "Dino roar, listen to Dino Roar, roar!" "Careful, George," says Daddy Pig. "Don't play too roughly because Dino Roar will get broken." Yeah, you can't play roughly with any toy, right? And especially if it's made with plastic because it could get broken easily. George wants to play with Dino Roar in the bath. Splash, 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 splash. Dino Roar, says George. But Mummy Pig says, George, if you get Dino Roar wet, he'll stop working. Ah, that's because Dino Roar can sing and he has a battery. And if you put him inside the water, he will stop working. Peppa and George are asleep in bed. But suddenly, Dino Roar comes to life. Roar! Dino Roar! Dino Roar! George, says Peppa, Dino Roar has woken up. Maybe Dino Roar should sleep somewhere else, says Daddy Pig, taking Dino Roar away. Oh, and George cannot sleep with his Dino Roar anymore. And look, George is sad. George is feeling sad. He cannot play with Dino Roar in the garden or the bath or even in bed. Never mind, George, says Mummy Pig brightly. Dino Roar can still roar. Dino Roar! Listen to Dino Roar! Dino Roar stops walking and talking completely. That's because I think the batteries must have run out, says Mummy Pig. Oh, that's plenty of batteries to run a Dino Roar. Already? How many are there? Grumbles Daddy Pig as batteries pour out of Dino Roar. Hundreds and thousands, cries Peppa as she picks them up. Peppa spots something green under a bush. What's this? Says Peppa. Is it a trumpet? You found Mr. Dinosaur's tail, says Mummy Pig. Now Daddy Pig can mend him. He might be a bit difficult to mend, says Daddy Pig doubtfully. But George is so happy to see Mr. Dinosaur's tail back. He's so happy, right? But the tail slips perfectly into place. Daddy Pig has mended Mr. Dinosaur. Ho ho ho, chuckles Daddy Pig. Hello, Mr. Dinosaur, says Peppa. Replies George. He, everybody laughs. Mr. Dinosaur is George's favorite toy in the whole world. That's right. And so that is the end of the story. And so, George does not have to worry about the new toy, the Dino Roar that he bought and having to replace all the batteries because, dinosaurs or toys that make sounds and that walks are all less fun, don't you think? Something that's made of wood or that does not talk, where you can take it every place, to garden, to your bed, to your car when you're traveling. That is the best toy. How many of you agree to that? Yeah, and here George also was so happy getting back his old Mr. Dinosaur, right? I hope you liked reading this story with me. I loved the story. Come back to Little Story Station for another interesting story. And if you like this story, subscribe to Little Story Station. Have your Amma or Appa click on the subscribe button so you get notified every time Auntie uploads a new video. And for all of you dinosaur lovers, I have a very interesting dinosaur story coming very soon. So come back to Little Story Station, and until I meet you next time, it's Tata, bye bye from Gomuti Auntie. Bye you guys, and read a lot of books.